Wow. We had an expectation for tonight. We were really hoping that it wouldn't be a worst case scenario. I got to be honest with you. This may very well be that worst case scenario. This was everything advertised and then some. Gigantic tornadoes being photographed very recently across eastern Arkansas on the ground doing massive damage. At last check, there's at least 20 active tornado warnings right now stretching from southwestern Indiana all the way down into far northern portions of Louisiana and northeastern Texas. There's about 12.5 tornado warnings in eastern Arkansas alone. Towns that are going to be impacted by this. Jonesboro just missed a massive F4, F5 style tornado is what it looked like. And now we've got many towns that are going to be impacted by storms coming up, including Evansville, Memphis, Union City, Tennessee, Hopkinsville. We're looking at these storms moving into Mount Vernon, Illinois right now. So this update, if you guys could help us get the word out that we're on here, very much appreciated. And we're going to do our best to show you what's happening. We've got some just absolutely heartbreaking images that are also coming in. So I'm going to be sharing that with you at times as well. All right, let's see. I'm going to bring in some of those images already before we jump into the radar analysis. The radar is just going to absolutely break your heart, what we are seeing out there. So we're going to take a look at some images. This is a tornado from just a little while earlier. We're going to go to Lake City, Arkansas, it looks like, for this one. And this was by Joshua McClain through Twitter, coming from, he's obviously way too close to what appears to be a wedge tornado doing massive amounts of damage. We're going to be showing you lots of pictures here throughout this update. And I also will be looking for any new information coming in from the National Weather Service concerning this, what appears to be historic outbreak of tornadoes. We are going to do a radar tour in just a moment, but take a look at this just moments ago. This appears to be a very large, likely a multi-vortex. I think that's a side vortice that we're seeing over here on this picture here. This is close to, Lake City, Arkansas. I believe that's just southeast of Jonesboro. That looks like a mesovortice. So this is likely a multi-vortex storm. Likely bare minimum F3. I would say that's an F4 storm that we're looking at there at least. Keep in mind, it's been a long time since we've seen an F5. A lot of questions revolving around that possibility for today, and I would say that that is firmly on the table based on what we're seeing. Take a look at this radar image. Now, there's a lot going on here, so let me help to decipher the actual storm responsible for all the activity well to the west. What I'm trying to only focus on are the most significant tornadoes. I can't even get to all the tornado warnings. There are so many. In fact, I'm going to have to take off the severe thunderstorm warnings here because there's too many. You can't even take, you just can't keep track of it all. So let me get rid of the severe. All right, so now we're only looking at tornado warnings, and look at all of them. The ones in red, these are radar indicated. The ones in pink, these are radar confirmed, or they're confirmed by a spotter. How many are there? Too numerous to even mention. But to the west of Memphis, we have one that's on the ground that's confirmed. I would be concerned for you in Memphis, especially North Memphis, over the next hour or two. You go north of there, we've got tornado warnings out the wazoo. We've got tornado warnings for Earl, Terrell, Mark Tree. It's really incredible. These storms moving off to the northeast rapidly, 45 to 50 miles per hour, most of them. Here's a TBS up here. Again, in the far south, this is the boot heel of Missouri near Kennett. We're getting, again, lots and lots of circulations. All of this is going to move to the north and east overnight tonight. You can see why this is going to be a long night. The pink shaded area that's flashing at you, that is a PDS tornado watch, which is something that is pretty rare. But that stands for particularly dangerous situation, which is exactly what we're continuing with here tonight. They use that terminology very rarely, very sparingly. But unfortunately, Unfortunately, yeah, that PDS, we're gonna hear that term thrown around tonight. We're gonna hear probably terms like tornado emergency, and I've been trying to bring these vocabulary terms to mind so that when and if these things occur, when a warning is issued for you, you know exactly what to do. You know, difference between a watch and a warning. Watch is what we had earlier. We saw the conditions coming together. We think conditions will be favorable. Hours in advance. Warning means it's happening now. You need to take your shelter. So before the warning happens, you need to have that emergency action plan in place. Now, worst case scenario, we get into a tornado emergency. The last time we ran into that, you go back to December 22, the Mayfield tornado. That was a tornado emergency. We remember all the lives that were lost in that terrible, terrible storm. There's no reason to believe that we don't have multiple of these tonight as a possibility. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it doesn't occur. But this is definitely a possibility for tonight. We're going to have to stay on guard. Particularly dangerous situation. That's another term that you're going to be hearing people talk about, and that is reserved for the highest level of storms. So just be on guard. Particularly dangerous situation doesn't sound too good. And that's because it is a particularly dangerous situation. And so if they have a PDS tornado or a tornado emergency, you need to seek shelter below ground. Either one of those two, a PDS tornado warning or a tornado emergency, you need to get below ground. We learned that lesson on May 23rd of 2011 in Joplin. The folks that did not or were not able to get below ground in time, many of them unfortunately did not survive. All right, with that being said, obviously you want to make sure that you find your best tornado sheltering options. We're going to get to the individual tornado warnings here coming up in just a couple of moments. This will be a long night. We've been talking about the risk area overall. I want to hash in here. Now, I know this is a ton of information, so let me simplify this for you in just a moment. All right, take those watches off. The hashed area, hashed in the dark red. If you live in that hashed area, a strong to violent tornado is possible tonight. Okay, I don't want you to miss that. If you live in the hashed area here in the dark red, that includes areas like Fort Wayne, Indiana, Lexington, Kentucky. These areas are going to get hit late tonight. But as of right now, you're still in play for strong or violent tornadoes. Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, Bowling Green, Evansville, Paducah, obviously out in Mount Vernon. But you make your way south, Nashville. You're in line. Memphis, you're going to get it first. Nashville, you're seeing storms, but the worst is going to hold on till later tonight. It's going to be a long night for Louisville, for Hopkinsville, for Bowling Green, for Nashville. Okay? Memphis, the nasty weather is knocking on your door, so you need to be prepared to take your precautions here soon. Make sure you've got that emergency action plan in place. We are not messing around tonight. We got images over here. My producer, Annie, sharing images from the internet, and I wish we weren't looking at images like this, but we are. Video sent in just a little while earlier. This is coming in from Collins Weather. Large wedge tornado on the ground in Caraway, Arkansas. This is again via Twitter. Appreciate Annie for passing this along. That's our producer. Massive wedge tornado. And this is just one of many, unfortunately, tonight. So we are going to be watching all of the storms as they develop in time. Satellite perspective here showing the explosion of thunderstorms that we've been experiencing here this evening. You can see those dark reds. That's where you have these overshooting tops that are occurring. This is air that's rapidly rising in our atmosphere thanks to the abundance of energy that we have. Going back over to our radar source, if I had to prioritize these tornadoes, which would be very difficult to do because there are so many of them, we just have to go to each one of these that is observed. Jonesboro, Illinois. You have a tornado on top of you basically right now, the town of Anna. You guys need to take shelter right now. That's southern portions of Illinois. Let's get another one out here. Tornado warning for West Central New Madrid County, southeastern Missouri, also southeastern Stoddard County. That's until 7:45. This is for a radar indicated tornado. It's going to be near Bernie here in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. All right, so let's go to the south. We've got a tornado warning. This is in, let me get the county names for you. That's Pemiscot and Dunkling counties. That goes until 7:30 p.m. Central Time for about another 8 minutes. That's a radar indicated tornado. You come on down here further to the south to the west of Memphis. This should have your attention. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground, confirmed by spotters. That tornado warning is in effect for central Lee and central St. Francis counties. That goes until, where is my time? 7:45. About 23 more minutes. I would expect that they would add to that based on the shape of that storm and its trajectory. This will impact parts of the Memphis metro area, likely to the north of town. You've got a little bit of time on that, but we just want to give you as much advance warning as we can provide. And I've taken all the severe thunderstorm watches off. The only thing that we're looking at here are tornado warnings. That's it. I'm going to take off the Storm Prediction Center information because, again, it's data overload. We have way too much that's happening here. Every one of these storms are spinning, every single one of them. So as that progresses, that could be the expectation for areas further to the east and north. So areas like Paducah, you haven't had a lot of storm activity near you so far today. Your air is actually pretty stable. And in fact, I'd like to do a little meso-analysis. And we're going to take a look at the amount of instability that the atmosphere has to work with right now. We oftentimes will look at instability because it's the amount of fuel that is available for these storms to feed off of. Without the instability, we don't have any problems. But unfortunately, we have lots of problems because we have lots of instability. So the colors that I'm painting on here, these are instability values, cave values in the order of about 1,800 to 2,000 across southwestern Indiana, where those storms are coming in. You get towards Paducah, Bowling Green, you're at over 2,000 units of CAPE, which is plenty enough to fire off these storms. You're at about 2,400 units of CAPE in Nashville. That is plenty of fuel. You come out here to near Memphis, you're dangerous. You're over 3,000 units of CAPE. So there is a lot of energy that's available. And the thing is that a lot of this is going to maintain, because as we lose heating tonight, okay, that normally helps. But this is a well-mixed environment. You'll notice the breeze that we have out there today. Well, that wind, thanks to the presence of a very strong low-level jet, is going to intensify. So even if you're in an area that would normally be cooling down at this hour of the night, you won't tonight. And the reason is because of all that warm, all that moist air that's flooding up ahead of this low-pressure system, and that deep low pressure that's up there across southern portions of Minnesota, that Midwest low, really wrapped up, and going to make sure that these storms continue to have plenty of energy during the overnight period tonight. That's what I'm sad to say. All right, what I would like to do is thank you very much, Mike Davis, coming in from Northeast Texas. Appreciate you. What I would like to do is I'm going to take some more media. We're getting some terrible images in here. My producer is sharing this. Oh, gosh, take a look at this. This is, just terrible. Massive, massive wedge tornado. Large, violent, potentially catastrophic. This is Lake City, Arkansas. This is to the east of Jonesboro. This storm has been on the ground for a while. And that storm chaser, whoo, give him credit. For the placement, he is in the right spot. And look at him, just going to slowly back up and let that storm pass safely off to his north. He's experiencing what we call the RFD. That's the rear flank downdraft. It's on the outer periphery of the tornado. It's where the winds will shift to the west, and oftentimes they'll come at terrific speeds, well over 100 miles per hour. I would say that they're up there on the periphery of that massive, massive wedge tornado. Terrible news for anybody that's caught in the path of that thing. That is going to be bad. That's going to be real bad. Just pray. All we can do is pray that they're getting those warnings, and all we can do is try to help to get the warnings out. So if you guys are on here, I know I don't have a following like Ryan Hall, and he does a great job typically, by the way. But I do have a long history of tracking storms professionally. I'm glad I have your trust tonight. All right. So again, these tornado warnings are lined up on the far northeastern section of Arkansas, moving into western Tennessee. I mean, it's just one tornado warning after another. I don't think we have seen anything like this. And okay, this is when this is going to get real. I don't know that we've seen anything like this since April of 2011. You've got to go back about 14 years. And for those that lived in Dixie at the time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. April 27th and April 28th of 2011, when we had that Super Dixie outbreak. I have not seen anything like this since then. I can't emphasize the importance of getting the word out to the people that may be downstream. Because look, this is going to come down to a situation where, yeah, pretty much everybody's going to find out about the tornado warnings and most people will take shelter. Great. But these type of tornadoes, some of these, if your shelter is not good enough, for some of these storms tonight, you're going to have to be below ground. And so that's my prayer, is that people are planning ahead, okay? Some of these tornado warnings, they may be long track. You may get an hour warning. You may get 45 minutes warning. Take it. If this thing is on the ground, if it's an F3, F4, looks like it is, it's on the ground a half hour away, 45 minutes away, and if you don't have access to a basement or a storm shelter, you've got to go, okay? This is just me talking to you heart to heart. That's what I would do. That's what I would do for my family. So we just all need to pay attention to what's happening here tonight if you don't have access to a basement. All right, let's go back over to the Twitter feed. Nope. We're going to come back to that here in just a second. Was there something else? Okay. All right. So anyway, if you guys can help us get the word out, that would also be appreciated. What is it? Okay. She's good. She's good. I'm good, largely. All right. Let's go to Evansville. All right. We're going to take a look at some of the images here, going back over to the Twitter feed. And, oh, wow, look at the power flashes. So that's infrastructure being destroyed. Those were probably transformers, power lines snapping, right? Okay, and unfortunately that means it's in a populated area too. When you see so many of those power flashes in proximity, it's tearing up houses. Again, Lake City, Arkansas. Very, very bad situation there. All right, thank you, Annie. All right, here's a look at the larger picture. Going over to our other radar unit. This is Radar Omega. I like to reference this one occasionally just to kind of look at the breadth of this storm. North to south, you got thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms all the way north into southern portions of Michigan. You've got tornado warnings that go all the way south into northern portions of Louisiana. Can you count the tornado warnings? I mean, we can do a quick count here. Let's do it. We were over 20 earlier. 1, 2, oh gosh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I count 19, 20. We're still at 20 tornado warnings right now. Evansville, Indiana just went under a tornado warning. This does include the town of Uniontown, Mount Vernon. Indiana, Evansville, tornado warning for you. We're going to be investigating that with our Gibson Ridge GR Level 2 analyst. This is the highest resolution Level 2 data you're going to find. I've got that coming to you in about 30 seconds. This is a mess, guys. An absolute mess. I will be checking my feed. If you have information on something that I'm missing, because we only have 2 sets of eyes and ears down here. So if there's something else that I'm missing, please add to the feed here, because your input is very much welcome here on this program tonight. Okay, so I'm pulling up the information on this. We've got to get my aunt on the phone, because she is going to be in line with this storm. You want to talk to... No? All right, we've got family out that way, actually. Wadesville, Poseyville. we need to get that. We need to get information out to the friends there in Evansville. We got new stuff coming on from our producer. Let's take a look at what we've got. And there you go. Looks like a stovepipe tornado. Stovepipe, where are we at? Also near Lake City. Okay, massive tornado near Bay, Arkansas, which ended up near Lake City. So this was it when it was in its formative stages, it looks like. Okay. Okay, so really nasty looking storm. It's going to pass just to the north of Morganfield. I'm going to focus on this because I think that's where we need to be at. All right, analyst radar showing that new tornado warning. And let me get the warning information out here. Tornado warning for southeastern White County, central Gallatin County, and those are in southern Illinois. Vanderburgh County, Gibson County, Posey County, and southwestern Indiana. Henderson County and Union County for northwestern Kentucky. This appears to be a very dangerous storm. We're getting pictures from South Bend, Indiana. Let's take a look. And that's not South Bend. That's the OO Storm Prediction Center. Okay, South Bend seeing all types of lightning tonight. All right, let's get those tornado warnings out. So the newest one we have is going to be affecting Evansville, Indiana, Uniontown, Kentucky, Mount Vernon, Indiana. It's going to come in very close to Wadesville. It's going to pass just north of Morganfield. Very dangerous looking storm. To the north of that, we do have multiple tornado warnings that are ongoing. I believe that this one is the least of our worries, so I'm not going to even mess with it. That's over Mount Carmel. That appears to be on the way out and dying. It's really bad when you have to skip over tornado warnings because you can't, because you can only have time to talk about the most serious. The Jonesboro tornado. Let me see if I can get a better view of that. We're going to go over to the Paducah market. I'm going to take a look at that radar in just one moment. Another look at the big picture. 20 tornado warnings. 20 of them. Anything in red, tornado warning. We have tornado warnings stretching from northern portions of Louisiana all the way up into southwestern and western Indiana tonight. Let's go back over to our primary radar unit. And all this in advance of that cold front area of low pressure that's spinning across portions of the upper Midwest right now. Ton of warmth and fuel to feed off of. I can turn on some temperatures here. We can look at what those dew point temperatures are doing. Oftentimes dew points are very critical. You need dew points typically above about 60 degrees this time of the year. Dew point temperatures were in the middle 60s at last check earlier this afternoon across much of the lower Ohio River Valley. They were closer to 70 across Dixie. So one of the many things that we look for. Again, trying to parse the information is very difficult just because we have so many active warnings. Memphis, you are not under the warning yet, but if you live in northwestern suburb, you do have a tornado warning that's in effect for you. We're going to investigate that in a moment, since we do have a pretty good population center down there. Blytheville, Joyner, Caraway. All these are tornado warnings for Sykeston, for Cairo. Make your way south of Carbondale. More tornado warnings there as well. Very rare to see a high risk. High risk was issued today, earlier this morning by the Storm Prediction Center. That does not happen very often. There was one last month, but on average, you only get a high risk day about once a year. Sometimes several years will go by without one. But this one is a no-doubter today. All of the ingredients came together, and I don't know We won't know. We won't know how bad it's going to be until we get into the day tomorrow. All we can do is pray that that these tornadoes miss the population center, and we have to pray that people will heed warnings and plan in advance throughout this evening and overnight until the situation calms. But unfortunately for some, particularly I'm concerned about the lower Ohio River Valley tonight, into maybe even the Tennessee River Valley tonight, late tonight, where some of these storms can persist and people will be likely, going to bed and planning for their day tomorrow. I just hope that they're prepared just in case this goes well into the overnight. All right. Thanks for being on here tonight, guys. As mentioned, this is going to be a long-winded event. It's about 8:37. Been on for about a half hour or so. I'm going to watch this storm as it approaches the Evansville area. As I just think that with the population center there, that is potentially a really bad situation developing. So we're going to continue to monitor that storm. We're going to continue to monitor the storm that's to the west, making its way through the town of Vienna. Also, that storm that was earlier located near Jonesboro. That storm continues to produce quite a circulation. We're going to have to watch that as well. Let's see if I can't pull that one up on analyst radar. Put this into motion, and there's just a lot of twisty motion in the atmosphere tonight. Okay, now I'll say this. Now, maybe a little bit of good news is that storm that was near Jonesboro earlier, it does not look to be nearly as defined as it was. Maybe losing some of its punch. Maybe it lifted, hopefully. Yeah, because you can see if you go back even 20 minutes ago, that was a strong TDS. I'm going to show you where that's at. Okay, and producer Annie has got some new information over here. Let's see what we've got. All right, where are we at here? We are... Lost my ears again. Looks like Craighead County, as it passed near Bay, Arkansas earlier. So that's before it got to Lake City. Okay. And are you seeing any pictures of damage? Okay. Well, this is, take a look at that. Let's go back over to Twitter feed here. Wow. Oh, that's just a scary image. Bay, Arkansas. That's by Chase Weeks. Okay. Yeah. Lots of really bad-looking images out there tonight. All right, let's go back over to our WSV3 radar. Taking a look at the whole situation out there. And just an unbelievable amount of storms tonight. I had to take off the severe thunderstorm warnings. We can only focus on the tornado warnings. The tornado warnings, the ones in red, these are radar indicated. The ones in flashing pink or purple, these are observed. And we have several of each. Let's see what this is right here. Where are we at? All right, let's go back over to our Twitter feed. Ooh. That's that same tornado near Bay, Arkansas. Look at that. Look at the spin on that. It's like a drill bit. Scary. You can see it hitting power lines. Power flash is very evident there. All right, so we how are we protecting ourselves tonight? That's going to be a question. Some of these storms are going to go very late. If you don't already have one of these, put that on your shopping list. Next time you're at your electronics store, you're going to spend 20, maybe 30 bucks on this little unit here. It's a Midland weather radio. Could save your life. And the reason I like these is because, well, they work even if the power's out. They're battery operated. They work on radio waves. So even if you have cell phone towers are down, no cell data, you'll still get your warning in your home easily. They're easy to program, and they could save a life. They'll go off day or night, makes no difference, and you'll definitely hear the warning. So I suggest having these in every home, okay? Especially if you live in the Midwest or Tornado Alley. You want to have, your phone app if you can. You want to have your favorite YouTuber also, of course, if you can. You want to have multiple ways of receiving that warning. What do we have over here? All right, here we go. Back to Bay, Arkansas. Man, we've had a lot of images from this one. Scary, scary image. Yeah, okay. I'm just afraid we're going to see a whole lot of damage out of that deal. A whole lot. All right, so let's do a timeline tonight. When can we expect this weather near you? I'm going to take you guys over to one of our weather models, and I haven't looked at the latest as it's come in because I just haven't had a chance to get off of the radar. Imagine that tonight. But I want to take a look at some of our high-resolution model imagery so that we can get a decent expectation of what to expect tonight. Okay, so the latest run of the HRRR is in. I'm going to show you that right now. So let's come on over to just kind of take a snapshot of what's happening. Big picture here. Okay, you see where the storms are. Now we're about to see where they're going to go. I've got Denise, make that Dennis on here. Dennis B88. I'm next door in my basement with my dog in Terre Haute, Indiana. And thank you, by the way, for being on here. And good job getting into that safe place. Should I be worried, brother? I think you need to wait this thing out. I would. I'm not messing around with this situation tonight. I'm not saying that, I'm not one to be over anxious and to over worry about storms. But tonight, we can't let this one sneak up on us. I'd say just hang tight and let this thing move by because it's going to be through Terre Haute pretty quickly. All right, let's talk about the timing here. Then we'll go back to those warnings. This is the HRRR that I'm showing you now. All right, so this is one of our high-resolution weather models. Here you go. So it's basically taking the activity where it is now, and so we're going to go forward in time. Okay, so this is let me stop right here. So we're at 8 o'clock. Here's 9. Here's 10. Notice we have the main line hanging back, but we have several individual storms that are out in front, like the one producing the possible tornado approaching Evansville. You could have more of these storms as they interact areas further to the east, maybe Louisville, maybe Bowling Green, out here towards Paducah, Hopkinsville. But the main line is still back here. We'll watch that. So this is at about 10 o'clock this evening. Let's go 11 o'clock. Let's go midnight. This is Eastern time. 11 Eastern, midnight Eastern. Look at that line. Bam! Does not reach Louisville until about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you go further south. Bowling Green gets it by around 1 to 2 a.m. And then Lexington doesn't get this storm until about 3 to 4 a.m. And I'm happy to say by around 3 or 4, these storms look significantly weaker. But really, it's going to be between now, midnight, 1 o'clock, maybe 2 in the morning, that we're going to have to remain vigilant, and we're going to have to watch these storms as they move in. All right, I want to go back over to radar out of Evansville. I want to see what the latest is with that storm. Okay, and they do have that tornado warning that does continue. And it looks like it was confirmed. It did touch down. Let's go back over to our analyst radar. There it is. So, all right, so that's the storm right here. And here's the report. Train spotter says, oh, just reported a funnel cloud. Never mind. Did not report damage. That's good. Hopefully it didn't touch down. Did have the tornado on the ground. The event that went just to the south of Cape Girardeau. And then we know what happened just to the southeast and east of Jonesboro. That'll confirm. That was a massive wedge tornado. Now we've got some really ugly signatures getting close to Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to investigate Memphis right now. Quick look at the big picture. At last check, I counted 20 individual tornado warnings. Not sure how many we have at the moment. All right, we're going to go down to Memphis, Tennessee. And let's see what it looks like down there. Ooh. Okay, storm approaching Crawfordsville. You've got to get in your safe place now, like yesterday. Crawfordsville, that's Arkansas. It's going to cross over the Mississippi. This is a nasty-looking supercell. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Getting a little bit of interference on the storm relative velocity, so I can't see for certain what the inbounds and outbounds are doing. I'm going to do my best to see if this thing is picking up debris, though. It is producing massive hail. That's what we know. Can you make an argument that there's a debris signature there? I would treat this as if it's on the ground. I would. So the warning itself, tornado warning, it's a storm capable of producing a tornado. So they're still saying it is radar indicated. Was located about 5 minutes ago over Jeanette, or 8 miles to the south of Earl, moving northeast at 50. Tornado and 2-inch hail. 2-inch hail. Okay, so that's going to interact northern suburbs of Memphis. To the north, we've got tornado warnings. Let's go. Tornado warning in effect for Poinsett in southwestern Mississippi counties and far northeastern Arkansas. Storm's moving at 45. That warning goes until 8 o'clock Central. Okay, further north, we have a tornado warning here. This is for northeastern Mississippi County, northern Pemiscot, Dunklin County. That's all in Missouri, West Tennessee, Dyer County, also Obion County, West Tennessee, and Lake County. That tornado warning goes until 8:30. And then we have 2 separate tornado warnings to the west of Paducah. Let me see if I can take Paducah radar. We'll come back to that here in just a couple of moments. I'm going to check in with my producer here. Do we have any images to share? Okay. All right. All right, Dennis says, I just watched the documentary of that tornado in 2011. He says, I got you, man. Yeah. I appreciate the sub. And yeah, absolutely. Stay safe, my friend. Dennis says, life is valuable. Don't take this lightly. Better safe than sorry. That's 100% right. You know, this is one of those rare days where really, really bad tornadoes are possible. And I'm not messing around with this. All right. Well, with that being said, it's about 8:50 right now. I'm going to go one more radar tour. And if we don't have anything pressing on a major metropolitan community, we're going to take a short break. And then we'll pick back up programming here in just a little while. Jared, watched many of your streams, doing great work. Well, thank you, Jared. And stay safe. You do as well, Jared. Where are you at, by the way? All right. Let's see what we got. Producer Annie has something for us here. Good grief. Look at that. You hear that term, wedge. What does it mean? Well, it means that the base of the thing is wider than it is tall. That's what it means. And I would say that is an example of a wedge. Likely a multi-vortex, likely a violent tornado that's near Lake City. Lake City, Arkansas, just to the east of Jonesboro. And you can thank the Lord that didn't hit Jonesboro. Okay, thank you for that. All right, let's go back to our radar sources here. Take a look what's happening. All right, got those tornado warnings in red on this particular map. This is radar Omega. We have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in yellow. I would say that one little piece of good news is that when I started this stream, we had 20 tornado warnings. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We went from 20 to 12. Okay? It's not perfect, but that's at least moving in the right direction. Okay, let's take a look at our analyst radar. This is level 2, highest resolution. You're going to find that storm approaching Evansville, still kicking up a fuss. Still a tornado warning on that. Looks like it's going to pass just to the south of Poseyville, Wadesville. That's good if you happen to have family or relatives out there. And this is coming in from Paducah. I'm going to see if I can get a better sample on that storm. Did have funnel clouds reported near Mount Carmel, also Belmont in Washington County, Illinois. Okay, good news is I just don't think that the structure on the storm approaching Evansville, west side of Evansville, it doesn't look that healthy. So this is a good signature. It has weakened a little bit. I'm happy to say that. The storm that was producing the tornado near Lake City still has a tornado warning associated with that. The data though is not great where it's at. I'm up at about 6,000 feet. And we, your meteorologist will always reference the nearest Doppler radar site. That's the NEXRAD Doppler. That's the National Weather Service, a network of Doppler radars that they can patch into to get the best view of the storm. I'm going to go down to Paducah and see if we can get a better view of that storm and also the one that's approaching Paducah from the west. All right, so they just issued a brand new tornado warning downwind of the storm that we were just tracking for you. Let's go ahead and get the warning information. This is Southern Illinois. Tornado warning for Hardin County, Pope County, Johnson, Williamson, Saline, and Gallatin County in Southern Illinois. That goes until 8:45 Central Time. This is a radar-indicated tornado. It's going to be near Galatia at 8:10. El Dorado at 8:15, Equality by 8:20, Ridgeway 8:25, Shawneetown 8:30. Go ahead and get to your safe spot. That's a pretty big tornado warning, so they're expecting this bow segment that's in this broken squall line to continue to produce rotation and periodically likely tornadoes with that as well. I don't see any indication that this is on the ground at the moment. We do have rotation, broad rotation, fairly strong near the town of McCormick. So we'll continue to monitor that. Tornado warning further to the south. That is for Alexander County in southern Illinois, Carlisle County in western Kentucky, southern Ballard County, and Mississippi County in southeastern Missouri. That goes until 8:15 Central Time. All right, and right now it's 8:55. So I promised we'd take a little break here, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. I want to thank you guys for being on. If you haven't liked or shared the program, please do that. I will take these questions, though, as they're coming in before we end this stream. I'm going to come back. It's just that we want to gather better resources for you so that when we come back, we are able to present this information in the most clear and compelling way possible. Jared, thank you for that. He's out of Northeast Ohio. Anne Marie, Bedford, Indiana. Going to be a long night for many of us here in Southern Indiana, and so just bear with us. As mentioned, I'm going to bring this one down for a close. I want to thank you for being with us. We will be back Probably take a break here, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour. But we'll be watching. If you don't already subscribe to this channel, please do so. Share it with your friends. You can find me on Twitter, by the way. It's Jeremy Kappel or Jeremy Kappel, Kappell on Twitter. If you want the most frequent updates, you can also find me on Facebook as well. Thanks for being here. You guys stay safe, okay? Keep those weather apps turned on. Make sure that we've got that emergency action plan in place just in case it gets bad tonight. These storms have the possibility of going for a while, okay? And that legit tornado threat will be with us throughout the evening. I'm hoping later tonight things will die down, okay? So that's the hope, that's the prayer. In the meantime, you guys stay prayed up, okay? Stay alert, stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll talk to you guys soon.